All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to this daily forecast for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Thursday, August 6th. Um, let's start by looking at the economic calendar. What do we have tomorrow? We actually only have unemployment claims, which is an orange folder. Not very interesting, so I'm not expecting much from tomorrow. And honestly, it's the day before NFP, and usually, again, the day before one of the big three news event is usually a consolidation or just lower volatility in general. So be careful tomorrow. Might not be the greatest trading day ever. Now, looking at the charts, if we look at the dollar right there, the dollar went lower today, which is not what we expected, obviously. But again, if you look at the move going lower here on the 4 hour time, the 4 hour perspective, you can see that it's very weak, right? We don't have a single 4 hour fair value going lower. So this entire leg going lower right here is extremely weak, and I wouldn't be surprised if we can just start going higher from there. But again, we'll have to react to what happens. But right now, the dollar is just not interesting. Same thing as yesterday. Just not interesting. We want to see higher prices. We want to see the dollar trade back higher towards this daily fair value gap right there, and that's not been happening. If you look at EU, which was our most interesting major for the week, it's literally the same scenario but inversed. So again, it's just about waiting. But if you look at this leg going higher right here on EU, this entire leg here is extremely weak, and I think we can start going lower at some point. Just have to see when. It could be tomorrow or most likely Friday when the big move happens during NFP. So overall, the dollar and the majors are not interesting for tomorrow. Now, looking at the metals and gold, this is actually good. I do like what I'm seeing here. I don't know what happened today for the metals specifically because that move didn't happen on any other market. It only happened here on gold and silver, so I really don't know what happened, but that's what we wanted to see, right? We have this monthly fair value gap. We wanted to see higher prices that we can trade back into it to finally start going lower. And we got that. It delivered really quickly today. Again, I really don't know what happened. We can dive in a little bit more into the price action, see what exactly. Yeah, we just got those huge candles. I, I honestly don't know where that came from, but that's good. That's good. That's what we wanted to see. Now it's over. We're not expecting higher prices anymore. From here, we're expecting lower prices. Obviously, it doesn't look like it right now. Doesn't look like we're going to get lower prices, but we are inside a monthly fair value gap. Monthly fair value gap is a very strong, very powerful, if you want, PD array, so we can start going lower. Now, the only thing I would wait for here is some kind of confirmation that price is reversing. Right now, we're not getting that confirmation. We are going to create this 4 hour fair value gap going higher. So potentially waiting for this 4 hour fair value gap to fail. That could be a good confirmation that we want to start going lower. Um, but again, it's not clear right now. I would say, yes, we got the first part, which was the retracement back inside the monthly fair value gap. Now, the second part is waiting for a clear sign that we actually want to continue lower from it. Okay, so let's wait and see what happens tomorrow, and then we'll reassess on Friday before NFP. Silver, very similar as well. We got a huge expansion today. The only difference is that we didn't get the sting back inside that monthly fair value gap yet. So silver can continue higher again, just for a little while, just for a little bit. It can continue higher towards the entrance of this monthly fair value gap. But once we reach inside of it, then we should start seeing lower prices. So again, nothing There's nothing here on silver so far. It's just about waiting for some confirmation, just like on gold, that price actually wants to reverse and start going lower. So, take a step back tomorrow for the metals. Moving on to crude oil. Again, consolidation, massive consolidation today. Didn't really move anywhere. It went higher at the beginning of the day, then lower, and now it came back to the entry, well, to the starting point basically. So, literally, the definition of a consolidation here. Um, yeah, uh, I don't know what to tell you guys. When it comes to crude oil, we just have a long-term bias, we stick to it, and everything that happens in between is only a manipulation. So we should start seeing higher prices at some point, potentially Friday during an FP, or again, there's going to be some kind of market manipulation throughout the weekend, and then next week on Monday, the markets are going to open much higher. We'll see what happens, but for now, nothing has changed here on crude oil. Well, except I do have to admit this, which is it's bad, but we did create this bearish daily fair value gap. I have to admit this. I'm gonna remove this fair value gap here, and that fair value gap happens to be overlapping with fair value area, which is again not a good sign. But hey, that's what we have. So let's be objective, and we'll see how price reacts to this. Now, moving on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin started going higher today again, a little bit more convincing than yesterday, but still very low volatility here. You can see that price hasn't moved a lot, and we're still waiting for retracement back inside this bigger monthly bearish fair value gap. So it's just about waiting on Bitcoin. Then next up we have the indices. So S&P again, just mostly a consolidation today, and we will most likely, well, we did already create this daily fair value gap. It's just because my data is delayed by 10 minutes here, but the markets are already closed, and we have created this daily fair value gap. So now the previous all-time high turns into a fair value area, and we should get a retracement back inside the fair value area and then potentially continue higher from it. But for now, I'm seeing lower prices tomorrow until we reach this fair value area on the S&P. Then next we have Nasdaq. So yeah, Nasdaq is much weaker than the S&P. We've already established that in the past few weeks. But again, I mean, it's still very bullish where we have this daily fair value gap overlapping with the fair value area. So again, I'm seeing lower prices until we reach this fair value area. Once we reach that fair value area, technically speaking, objectively speaking, we should be seeing higher prices from there. Okay? Something like this. But again, this is all manipulation. This is all earnings driven. It is not backed up by any fundamentals. So in the short term, yes, the markets can rally a little bit, but I strongly believe that on the medium to long term, we're gonna see some lower prices and much lower prices than what we saw a week ago. Okay. Now, next we had a few crosses. I remember we had a few crosses on the interest list with GBP Canadian dollar, which was one that was interesting. And honestly, it doesn't look too good. We got this huge candle going against us. We were expecting higher prices from this 4 hour fair value gap, which completely failed. Um, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I'm gonna remove this from the interest list. Not interesting anymore. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Okay, I do like what I'm seeing. We got a beautiful sting inside this daily fair value gap. Now we can continue lower from it. We have a clear context target down here. And then on the 4 hour, we actually have a 4 hour fair value gap as well. Yeah, this is not too bad. I do like Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Let's put an alert on this fair value gap, see if we can get a retracement into it. Also, let's see if we can create this lower fair value gap in 4 hours from now. But yeah, that does look interesting here to continue lower. Then next, I remember we had Euro New Zealand dollar. That was also interesting to continue lower. Now, what we got today is a little bit confusing because we actually swept the first rejection high. So we swept it to come back all the way back down. This fair value gap has definitely failed, so it's not interesting. And we actually created a 4 hour fair value gap here. So that could be interesting. I'm going to remove the daily fair value gap and put an alert on this one. So if we can get the retracement back inside that 4 hour fair value gap right here, then we could potentially get some lower prices. And again, we have a clear target here, which is, well, we have the context low, but we also have the intermediate term target, which is down here. Yeah, this could be interesting for tomorrow. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Euro New Zealand dollar both look good. And finally, we have GBP Australian dollar. This one hasn't changed. Again, I just want to remind you, we're just waiting for price to either reach this bullish monthly fair value gap or this bearish monthly fair value gap. So right now, nothing has changed here. So honestly, for tomorrow, again, it's the same thing as yesterday. There's nothing interesting except for a few crosses with Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Euro New Zealand dollar. They're both interesting in my opinion. They could both deliver, and they're the most interesting. They're literally the most interesting charts I've analyzed tonight. Everything else looks ugly, or just doesn't make any sense. Like the dollar, for example, I wouldn't trade any majors. Well, I have to admit that the metals do look good, actually. I forgot about that, but the metals do look good. But we're still waiting on some further confirmation. So again, it was like a two-phase thing. The first phase happened, which was the retracement back inside the monthly fair value gap. Now the second phase is, can we actually reject from it? Okay. And this move higher here is very strong, as you can see on the 4 hour. We have a bunch of 4 hour fair value gaps. Very strong move going higher. So I would want to wait for some extra confirmation that we actually want to reject from this monthly fair value gap. So right now, again, metals not interesting right now, but they could be tomorrow for NFP. Well, sorry, not tomorrow, but after tomorrow for NFP on Friday or next week. Then crude oil, again, not interesting, just a consolidation, and price just doesn't make any sense. And then finally, Bitcoin has just been extremely low volatility, and we're still waiting for retracement back inside the monthly fair value. And then the indices, well, the indices, we should see some higher prices tomorrow once we reach those fair value areas. So again, I'm sorry. I know it's not the best forecast ever. Very boring. We don't have anything really interesting on the radar except for those two crosses that we looked at. I think the New Zealand dollar pairs. But other than that, take a step back tomorrow. Just watch the market from afar and wait for NFP. I think that's going to tell us much more. All right, lads. Well, thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.